For decades, Al Roker has been a constant in American living rooms. His familiar smile, warm humor, and steady presence have accompanied generations through mornings filled with weather forecasts, holiday parades, and moments of national reflection. To many, he represents reliability, a man who shows up, rain or shine, with optimism and tact. But behind that affable exterior lies a deeper story, one shaped not only by resilience, but by a hard-earned understanding of vulnerability. Al Roker built his career during a time when broadcasters were expected to project confidence at all costs. The role demanded composure, even cheerfulness, regardless of what was happening beyond the camera's frame. Personal struggles stayed private. Physical discomfort was masked. Emotional strain was quietly managed. The audience needed reassurance, and Al delivered it faithfully, year after year. Yet life, as it often does, had other plans. Health challenges entered Al's story not as a single event, but as a series of chapters, each one testing not just his physical endurance, but his sense of identity. For a man whose career depended on being present, energetic, and dependable, confronting vulnerability felt unsettling. Illness does not respect broadcast schedules. Recovery does not align with production timelines. And for someone so accustomed to being the steady one, needing support required a profound internal shift. What makes Al Roker's journey remarkable is not simply that he endured these challenges, but that he chose to share parts of them publicly. In doing so, he quietly redefined strength. Rather than retreating behind polished statements, Al allowed audiences to see glimpses of uncertainty, fatigue, and humility. He acknowledged setbacks without dramatizing them. He expressed gratitude without denying fear. And through that balance, he offered something rare in broadcast media: honesty that felt both dignified and human. For viewers in their 60s, this approach resonates deeply. Many have lived through eras when stoicism was a badge of honor. You showed up, you carried on, you didn't talk about pain unless absolutely necessary. Al's openness does not challenge those values, it builds upon them. It suggests that resilience is not compromised by vulnerability, it is strengthened by it. There is a quiet courage in admitting that even the most familiar faces carry private battles. Al's willingness to speak openly about his health did not diminish his authority. If anything, it enhanced it. Audiences didn't tune out, they leaned in. They saw not just a broadcaster, but a fellow traveler navigating the complexities of aging, healing, and self-acceptance. Someone who understood that life after 60 often requires a renegotiation with one's own body. Importantly, Al never framed vulnerability as defeat. He framed it as information, as awareness, as an opportunity to listen more closely to what life was asking of him. That perspective, measured, thoughtful, grounded, is precisely what makes his story resonate with an audience that values wisdom earned over decades. On air, subtle changes became noticeable: a gentler cadence, moments of reflection woven into lighthearted banter, a deeper appreciation for simply being present. These were not performances, they were the natural result of lived experience, of someone who had been forced to slow down, to accept help, and to re-examine what it truly means to power through. Family, too, played an essential role in this evolution. Behind the scenes, loved ones became anchors in the truest sense, offering encouragement, patience, and perspective. In those relationships, Al was not a public figure. He was a husband, a father, a man navigating uncertainty like anyone else. And it was there, away from the cameras, that vulnerability became not just acceptable, but necessary. For many watching, Al Roker's story offers something quietly reassuring. It affirms that setbacks do not erase a lifetime of contribution, that asking for help does not negate independence, that adapting is not the same as surrendering. In an industry often focused on appearances, Al demonstrated that authenticity can coexist with professionalism.
that grace under pressure sometimes looks like acknowledging limits, and that longevity, both in career and in life, depends on knowing when to lean in and when to let others lean in with you. His enduring resilience is not defined by how much he endured in silence, but how thoughtfully he chose to speak when it mattered, by modeling a version of strength that allows room for rest, reflection, and renewal. And perhaps that is the quiet lesson at the heart of his journey, that vulnerability, when embraced with honesty and self-respect, does not weaken us. It connects us, it steadies us, it reminds us that even after decades of showing up for others, we're still allowed to show up for ourselves. In the end, Al Roker's greatest forecast might not be about the weather at all, but about a future where resilience and vulnerability stand side by side, each making the other stronger.